Welcome, truth-hungry souls and tireless dreamers, to the chamber where whispers grow wings and fly straight into the light. Welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Tonight, we step onto the trembling bridge between joy and dread, applause and abyss. If you thought Turkish showbiz had exhausted every surprise, brace yourself. This tale beats like a romantic drama but tightens like a psychological thriller. Before we unravel the silk and thorns of what happened, grant a small vow to our circle. Subscribe, ring that bell so not a single breath escapes you, and if you want to support our relentless digging, the subscribe button stands ready with exclusive treasures. One click for you, a leap toward the truth for us all. Shall we enter the mystery of the year? It was meant to be the night to outshine every other night. One of those events destined to take root in glossy columns as a coronation of glamour and grace. Alina Baz's birthday celebration was designed as a glowing garden of light and music, a shimmering haven that gathered industry royalty, close confidants, and beloved colleagues in a scene that felt borrowed from an illuminated fairy tale. Laughter rang bright as glass, champagne chimed in rhythm, and the camera flashes stitched smiles into a fabric that promised a golden tomorrow. But inside all that glitter, there pulsed a note that didn't quite belong. A quiet shock that hovered around two faces everyone knows by heart. Alp Navruz was there, and his presence did not simply register, it pulled the center of gravity to where he stood. He tried for modesty, tried to move like a man protecting something fragile and unspoken, yet the current between him and Alina hummed through the room. Their glances, quick, searching, charged, collided and ricocheted. Their nearness, so subtle yet constant, formed its own orbit. Their bodies seemed drawn by instinct, as if the crowd were a tide and they were the shore. Everything about them shouted a truth their mouths were not ready to speak. After weeks of chaos, hushed meetings, frayed families, a health scare that rattled even the bravest, this party felt like a tacit nod that a painful, powerful reconciliation had found its breath again. But no one, not the paparazzi with nerves of ice nor the fans who can read a tremble in a pulse, could have foreseen what would unspool once the music dimmed. What looked like a dawn of public peace sealed itself, within hours, into the prologue to the most unsettling enigma of the year. Turkey woke the next morning with an ache where certainty should be, a low hum of unease that rose toward panic as time denied answers. The shift was brutal. From the jubilant roar of the party to an absolute void. According to the first jagged reconstructions, our two protagonists vanished a few hours after the final goodbyes. The photographers outside, still as hawks waiting for the slightest tremor, caught the last notes of ordinary life, Alina waving off a friend with a tired yet luminous smile, Alp sliding out through a side door like a man with a mission he didn't intend to discuss. Then, nothing. Neither returned to the places that usually shelter them, homes turned into empty fortresses under siege. No familiar morning stops, no favorite cafes or quiet corners where fans leave their admiration like flowers. What detonated the red alert was the sudden digital eclipse. In a world where presence is stamped and certified online, their silence on Instagram, their blankness on Twitter, rang like either a warning bell or a manifesto against the gaze of the world. No thank you stories, no carousel of party photos, no replies to missed calls. Their phones slept. Their chats froze. It was as if a black hole had opened and swallowed them whole. The country slipped into a kind of investigative trance. Theories multiplied with the grip of a fever. One camp insisted this was the only exit left. A desperate escape from the constant tremor of attention that had, only weeks earlier, threatened to break Alina in two and led to that sudden hospitalization everyone pretends not to remember too vividly. Another camp imagined Alp's hand steering every choice, a vigilant guardian moving his beloved away from the din so she could simply breathe. Some whispered they needed to retreat completely, to rebuild the fragile scaffolding of a love battered by outside storms. And of course, there were the dreamers, those who believe in quiet vows, convinced this was the brave step toward a future guarded by privacy, not applause. And here, dear friends of Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we pause to ask, what would you do in their place? When the world is 1,000 eyes, every blink a judgment, is vanishing an act of fear or the highest reading of courage? Tell me in the comments, let your inner psychologist speak. If this story resonates and you want us digging deeper, give that like button a nudge and don't forget to subscribe. Your fire feeds our hunt for the truth. What turns this into a detective saga is the baffling stillness from their inner circles. Ordinarily, whispers of disappearance are smoothed by agents with brisk statements, tidy denials, reminders to breathe. Not this time. An eerie hush descended. Tight-lipped. Absolute. The few staffers who did pick up the phone delivered vagaries, stammers, a neat chorus of no comment that did nothing to soothe and everything to unsettle. Even the friends known to enjoy a microphone built walls and refused the very sound of their names, or staged surprise with performances that didn't quite earn a round of applause. Facing this vacuum, fans and media became sleuths. Old photos turned into maps, reflections in windows became clues. Flight logs were combed through like prayer beads. The backgrounds of friends' videos were studied, pixel by pixel. And then, hints emerged, real ones, the kind that make your pulse kick. An anonymous voice, close enough to Alina's circle to know the shape of the truth, murmured something chilling. The actress never returned home after the party. Her driver took a strange route instead, not toward the city but away from it, and not toward any place that rings with habit. Meanwhile, Alp's car was seen on a coastal strip, a long whisper of asphalt that leads to lonely stretches known for bunker-like villas and hideaways where fame goes to be nameless. But the thunderclap came from the private airport. A worker there, speaking under a curtain of anonymity so heavy you could feel it, described a private jet lifting into the pre-dawn at around 4:30. That hour when the night's mask begins to slip and secrets take flight. The passengers? Two hooded figures whose height, gait, and careful quiet looked hauntingly like the silhouettes we know so well. The tipster mentioned a last-minute booking and privacy protocols that felt almost military. From that moment, the romantic getaway hypothesis gathered speed. In that version, Alp planned everything with a precision that deserved a clockmaker's respect. A sanctuary, possibly across the border, where the air was clear enough for voices to meet without a camera acting as translator, where wounds could be cleaned rather than displayed, where Alina's health would not be gambled with for the sake of the timeline. Picture it, a flight at dawn, the lights of Istanbul flattening into a necklace in the distance, and beneath them just a man and a woman, not statues, not headlines, breathing the same air without an audience. After the kiss and the quarrels, after relatives who frowned and a moment of raw honesty from Alp to a pushy microphone, maybe vanishing is the only step that protects what still burns between them. But another theory has its own strong pulse, and we can't ignore it here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Some seasoned voices in the industry whisper that this is not a holiday but a medical map. They talk about exclusive centers in Europe devoted to emotional balance, clinics as beautiful and discreet as a church without windows, where the soul can rest away from the constant static. Alina's recovery, they say, isn't optional. Perhaps Alp chose to be her guardian on the steep road back. The fog thickened when certain friends began posting cryptic notes. "Everything is fine, but it takes time," read one caption beneath a soft, empty landscape. No names. No tags. A code written light. They are alive, they are together, they are asking for space. It did not read like an accident. It read like choreography. There is a detail so quiet most people missed it, but we did not. Never, since fame put its fingerprint on them, have Alina and Alp vanished in concert for this long. This silence is not a void, it is a container. It is dense with meaning. It suggests an hour of decision, something final and formative. When love suffocates under the noise of the world, sometimes the only cure is to step into the invisible and listen for the heartbeat you almost lost. While the country spins 1,000 fables, secret weddings and dawn vows, or meditation bells echoing from a remote retreat, the one truth that flickers steady is this: they did not vanish by chance. They closed the door because the next chapter is too precious, too delicate, too alive to be pushed under a lens. Maybe they reappear tomorrow with a shy smile and a sudden ring glinting like a secret that finally wanted light. Maybe they surface in a month, stronger backs, softer eyes. Or maybe this quiet is not a pause but a migration to a life that belongs to them alone. We at Turkish Spotlight Secrets will be here, night watchmen with patient eyes, listening for the first tremor that says they are on their way back. What do you imagine is really happening behind that closed curtain? Is this the crowning of their love or the careful stitching of a deep wound? Share your theories, yes, even the wild ones, in the comments below. This family thrives on your intuition. From Turkish Spotlight Secrets, that's our chapter for tonight. Keep your senses sharp, because the loudest truths often hide inside the softest silence. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, the heart always finds its own way home.